That might be the best piece of advice you've ever said in what to do in a fight. All right, we're live, Bill. That might be the best piece of information you've ever said in a fight.
All right. Well, pro tip number 1,237. When all else fails in a fist fight, grab his dick and twist it.
That's not exactly how I envisioned that going, but nevertheless, we'll work on that. Fight Show, episode 26, presented by 500 Level, No Slap, our friends over at 717 Surplus. Took a couple weeks off. We're back. We're here. Get in the stream real quick. What's up, Bubba? How you been?
Man, doing good. Life hits hard sometimes, but, try and just mentally regroup and, we drive forward. We won the day. We're still here,
Yeah, man. Every day above ground's a good day.
We live to fight another day.
Yeah. Good race. I'm sharing the stream out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's in there. I don't know why it's not popping up. I'm just over here dumbfounded. There we go.
Well, you're the technology guy. If you can't figure it out, we're kind of fucked. You know that.
No, we're good. We're good, I got it. It's just Facebook will do stuff and they'll change stuff and you will do it. I digress, though. We got the stream shared out. Fight Show episode 26, as we said before, presented by 500 Level, NoSlap.com, and our friends over at 717 Surplus. Shout out to Christy in the chat. What's up? If you're in the chat, in the stream, hit the comments, fully interactive. Speaking of 500 Level, buddy, since you're not going to take the cue and talk about him and talk about that awesome hoodie you got on there.
I like it. Shout out to 500 Level Apparel, man. I'm digging it. They hooked us up. You can.
Yeah, I got the Bo Nickel one. You guys can hit 500level.com. Sorry, I changed the camera. We got a little bit of a different setup and shit here this week. So I'm looking. It's all different. 500level.com. Use the code FightShow for 20% off, and with that 20%, hey, my cousin's in the chat. What's up, Pat? 20% off. Yeah, I'm all over the place. Everything's all new. 20% off, and with that, portion of proceeds are going to Geese for GIs, which provides jiu-jitsu gis to service members all around the world. We're gonna have Brian Crandall from Geese for GIs on in a couple weeks. No, I'm happy with it, man. I got the Sean. I already wore the Brady. I had a Sean Brady, the Bo Nickel.
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed Ilya Taporia. I wore a couple of them. Still got a couple of them. Washed them a couple times. Everything kind of seems legit with it. Stoked to be working with these guys. Stoked the fact that every time you guys purchase, not only are you saving money, but we're also taking a little bit. Like I said, we're throwing it to Geese for GIs, which is that veteran initiative that I've messed with for years. So, with that being said, we've been away for a little bit, Bub. What's up? How's everything been? Good?
Yeah, we're driving through. Like I said, man, we're still here. We won the day, Celebrate life. Life is good. Hershey Park opens tomorrow, so that's going to be a nightmare, but I'm going to go anyway because my little girl likes it. So, looking forward to it. Had a couple of days off work to mentally regroup. Good thing.
We decide we're pumping this thing for like. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. It's being all stupid. We are decided to take 2 weeks off, and of course they settle. The UFC settles the fucking lawsuit. They decided to settle the lawsuit, so that's
we got some shit to talk about today, huh? I got some opinions on that.
I mean, they're not changing anything like they wanted to. It's the $279,000 a piece for all 1,200 fighters before attack. Which, hey, I'm cool. Everybody got paid, but I'm like, the whole goal of this thing from the start was to change some rules, change some contract stuff, and that didn't really happen. So,
well, here we go. I'll give my my little tiny opinion on that. Doesn't mean that it's right. Okay. Did the fighters possibly deserve more? I don't know. They signed a contract for the amount that they signed for at the time. It was the going rate. Yada yada yada. What do you know as an entrepreneur yourself? What do you know of a monopoly to be? This whole lawsuit was because they said the UFC was that they said they had a monopoly or they paid an unfair percentage. This was a lawsuit about being a monopoly, correct?
I mean, you got to sit there and look at this argument like there's six different, you can't have this conversation from one, like you have to look at multitude of things. Like, yeah, do I think I want all fighters to get paid? And as much as I joke and fuck around on the internet with Don Davis and the PFL, like we know guys that fought in the PFL. Pat Brady was on the show. He fought in the PFL, fought in multiple organizations, but most recently the PFL. We've had friends fight in there. Like I like the PFL and Bellator still being around as places for fighters to go. And that's even, we can kind of get into that too, because PFL's getting sued because of one of their contracts. And all these experts on the internet have been chiming in for months about the PFL. They're doing things, they pay more. It's great. Yeah. If you're a PFL league season fighter, and this is one of them things, like we know people, we've talked to people, we kind of knew what they were getting paid. Like those of us that like know people that know people, not just us. We knew what they were getting paid. I've seen PFL contracts. Me seeing it and telling you I saw it doesn't amount to anything. Now we've actually got a contract in your hand and it backs up everything that I've been saying for months. Like their pay gap matches their talent gap. I'm glad they're there. I don't want them to go away. I think if you're a PFL league fighter and you come in making $8,000 for your first fight and you lose that fight and PFL decides to extend your contract and people were over here crying about the UFC, like what's the diff? There's really no difference. The UFC's been doing what they've been doing for 30 years. Should some stuff change? Yeah, probably need a union. There's probably a lot of, like I said, there's not one particular path you can have a discussion about contract practices. I know I'll say 85%, this is educated guess, 85% of the fighters in the world that are actually taking any time to do this, if they're trying to do anything with it, where are they trying to go? Who's fighting to say who's some little kid like Francis Ngannou in a village in Africa that says, I'm sure if the opportunity came along and he made it there, he would take it. But at the end of the day, where do you want to go? Taylor Harris just left. MVP had a place to fucking sign, a place to go. They would have welcomed MVP with open arms. He left. That was the two biggest names they had, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they well, like I said, it takes us back to what we were first talking about. The UFC was never a monopoly. You can say anything else you want. You're right. There's 12 different ways you can approach what those contracts were and how they were written. Now, the UFC did it better than everybody else, but the UFC has not been a monopoly in a really long time. They were not the only ones who were putting on shows, putting on, pro spots. Now, did they do it better than everybody else? Did they pay better than everybody else? Absolutely. But as far as like, if anybody wanted to sit down and be like, oh, the UFC was a monopoly, no, they absolutely weren't. There's been Strikeforce, Bellator, Bodog. There's so many other organizations that you could have chose to fought for, but it's like you said, everybody wanted to go to the UFC. So now, if there are unfair contract practices and stuff like that, that's something I'd have to read up a little bit more on. You said 1,200 fighters got $279,000.
There's 1,200 fighters. Nobody opted out of the lawsuit. It was 335 million. So you do the quick math on that. 279 before lawyers' fees. I saw a headline somewhere. Somebody reached out, so the only people that won with this are the lawyers because they're over here basically doing nothing.
Well,
they're going to take a third.
I'm sure Dana White and company have top-notch lawyers and stuff. I'm very curious as to why they settled. That like they must have thought they were losing the battle. They either wanted it to go away. Like, why do you settle?
Somebody talked on it. I don't know if it was Nate Marquardt. I forget who was quoted on it, but he said basically they were talking 800 to $1 billion in potential damages. But like he said, in order to do that, they got to take their two lawsuits, go back, combine in one, basically start over again. And then one of them things where the UFC only has to lose Like they have to win every time. Every single judge they go in front of, every single part of the process, they have to win that. And if the
Okay.
UFC wins one, they get nothing. So the whole goal of this, like I said, was to change the contract and change the way. At the end of the day, everybody got a bag. That's cool. The UFC is still going to keep doing what they're doing. They've been doing successfully for 30 years. It's the fastest growing sport in the world. You have guys like Chandler, who are still company guys, very much company guys, coming out and speaking and just kind of being a little bit more transparent as to what goes on. You got guys like Sam Alvey, who 13 or 15 years under UFC contract, laid it out for you. Like, and again, every day, a Contender Series is announced, a new Tough House is announced. There's guys all over. You got guys in Florida that are fighting. They're looking for 2 and 3. Two guys with 2 and 3 fights in Florida, paying them 1,000 to show and 1,000 to win. People don't understand like this.
You know, I wonder if now that that's settled, and, you know, they probably got to it at the beginning of this lawsuit. I wonder how those contracts for UFC fighters read now as opposed to 3 years ago. You know, when you sign a UFC contract like today, does it have a back section in there where you promise not to be part of any lawsuits, yada yada yada? You know, because
It's
like
hard
you
to
said,
tell how it.
they're probably going to continue to do the same thing. You know, and yeah, the opportunity is there for these guys to make a ton more money these days, but it's still not what the UFC is making. You know. I think I saw in its last evaluation, the UFC, I think they said $10 billion is what they estimate it's worth. You know,
Yeah,
it's worth what you can sell it for, but they're still paying out a fraction of probably the money they're bringing in each day. You know.
oh well, and like Chandler, I think Chandler said it best about the reinvestment into the sport. Like they reinvest so much into this.
Yeah.
If you're a 12 and 12 guy on your first fight of your first 3-fight contract and you're on the undercard, you're getting some shine, bro. Like you're getting some new fans. You put on a crazy performance and you might pop 100,000 on Instagram, 200,000 on Instagram first time you step foot in the cage. And like to some people that doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, everybody that's involved in the sports in a promotion business.
There are many more opportunities to get noticed and grow your own brand these days than there ever were.
Yeah.
Back when we started watching this shit 25 years ago. You know, I've always said, even on this show, the UFC has made millionaires of people who would have struggled in this life otherwise. You know, you imagine Nick Diaz working a 40-hour-a-week job? Probably not, right? You know, and he's a multimillionaire based off of Dana White's moves and Dana White's platform. You know, Nick Diaz would have never made it like this on his own.
The big argument is, oh well, the NFL and Christopher Rothstein. We have to have this guy on. He works Island Fights and he just did
Yeah, I see Chris.
yeah,
What's up,
Chris is awesome. He's down south. I know he's got some. I've seen posts of his. He comes up the Hershey way every once in a while, so he's got a Central PA connection. I fucks with Chris. Chris always has some good insight. He's been around the game for a minute.
Yeah, I think I friended Chris about 2 weeks ago, and then I ran my mouth on Facebook, and back in Facebook, Joe.
Yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, Bill is a frequent offender, and he's constantly in Facebook jail. So if you go to hit him up, he's always accessible. If you go to hit Bill up on social and you can't see him, that's why.
Yeah. No,
Bill doesn't comment back. He's not an asshole if he doesn't comment back. He's probably on restriction and he can't. So
yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
yeah.
I'm really gonna try.
But no, we appreciate everybody stopping in. Like I said, you can head on over. Our good friends there. You see it flashed up on the screen, 500level.com. Code FightShow, 20% off with a portion of every sale going to Geese for GIs. We can't speak on this enough, man. So we were glad to partner with them. They got good shit, man. And if you're a sports fan like Bill, where you like all those other stupid sports like football and baseball, they don't just have UFC. They got a bunch of different stuff. So feel free to check them out. Like I said, every purchase goes to Geese for GI. A portion of it goes to Geese for GIs. So look for that coming up soon. Brian Crandall from Geese for GI, so he could tell you guys about that if you didn't know they existed. Other than that, man, UFC settlement. I know Walt Harris just got busted and got a 4-year suspension, so you might as well say bye to Walt Harris.
He was already, he didn't have the talent level to compete with these guys, you know.
Here's somebody else.
Couple other things we could get into this week, man. UFC 300's right around the corner. The heavyweight division is looking as bad or as weak as I can remember it, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody could change my mind. What else is out there that we were wanting to talk about? Yeah, like you said, Walt Harris. Maybe he's gone now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. For the first time, we took that little 2-week vacation, and for the first time in over a year, bro, I checked out.
Well,
So
yeah.
I mean, clearly I watched the Sean Cheeto fight.
Mhm.
But I'm not like it's taking them 2 weeks off. I'm just kind of like, oh, let me see what's going on. I've been paying attention to stuff and keeping up with content clearly, but like
Well, I'll tell
I've
you
just
what.
been checked
Something
out.
another idea that I was another thing that I was thinking about today, and I saw other MMA analysts and everybody talking about this, and I figure I'd get your take on it. The shows at the Apex. Now that the UFC has settled this this multi-million-dollar lawsuit and all that fun stuff, you know that the Apex was supposed to be originally designed for
Here we
keep
go.
to keep stuff going through COVID. You got a lot of young stars, man. I'll tell you what. Did you watch Peyton Talbot fight the other week?
Yeah, yeah,
That kid,
I did check that one out. I tuned in.
that kid's something else, man. And they have him fighting in front of a basically empty arena. You know, that's
Yeah,
like that kid needs to be in front of 20,000 people fighting. You know what I mean? I think he's a future star.
yeah,
You know, who knows where he'll go, man. He's so young and he looks so sharp, you know.
yeah. No, he definitely looked good. This damn magnet on this mic. My bad. We're
So
still
my
bear with
my,
us,
my
folks. We're still dealing with new technical difficulties.
my thing, I know the UFC gets a certain amount of money from ESPN to throw X amount of live shows per year. You know, is it? And I gotta mention, I have to imagine the overhead on the Apex is probably peanuts in comparison what it takes to what it costs to
Well,
take the UFC on the road,
much
right?
like when you consider everything in here, you gotta like there's different arguments for different situations. The Apex served its purpose. You got Dana White Contender Series that comes out of
Mhm.
there. You know, Tough's filmed there. I think it has a purpose. It has a place. I think it give. I can't even. You can't even say anything because some of these guys that are fighting on the regional, like guys coming through CFFC, guys coming
Mhm.
through, Ring of Combat, Fury in Texas, LFA. They're fighting in some decent sized venues, but there's guys that still get fucked up by making that jump. So I think if you got some new talent you want to nurture, if you want to do a couple in home things, that's fine. I'm
Mhm.
not 100% against it, but I think it's a certain cards I think will do better. They're better than other cards. And for those
What
of you
would
that have never formulated an arena plan, rented an arena, ran security, like if you can do anything in house, you would. So
what
uh,
about why wouldn't you renovate that and maybe so it would seat 1,000, 1,500 people, something, you know? I
I
mean,
see both sides of the argument. I definitely do. Like I think they can kind of do something different with it. I think they can evolve it a little bit. And again, it's still new. It served its purpose. It was here for COVID. Who's to say what the Apex is going to look like in a couple years? But I mean, I know you get into different. There's like I said, there's just a bunch of different tops. To me, promoting there doesn't. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Like I said, you got a place to nurture talent. I kind of again, this is one of them things where I'm like, I don't have an opinion because there's really no point fucking arguing about it. If Dana wants to do 50 out of 53 shows a year at
oh
the
yeah,
fucking
no,
Apex, that's what he's
that
going to
is
do.
true. Don't you feel like
Um,
you lose connection with some of the fans? Like some of the smaller cities, obviously you're always going to have your home out there in Vegas, but you know, places like a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you know, and any Boston, Massachusetts, any of the little places they used to hit the fight nights up at, don't you feel like you lose a connection with the fans at some point? You know?
yeah, no, and that's again, there's arguments to it. I'm not for it or against it. I'm kind of just like it is what it is. Like there was a time where I mean, we're saying this now, and we just kind of took 2 weeks off from the show, and I know both of us were a little busy over the weekend, so we weren't like watching and keeping as close eye as we normally do on stuff. But like if you want to watch Tai Tuivasa fight, you're going to watch Tai Tuivasa fight. If you want to watch Joe Pyfer fight, you're going to watch Joe Pyfer fight. Are you going to not watch Joey Pyfer fight because Joey Pyfer's fighting in the Apex again? Or are you going to tune the fuck in and watch Joe? Like it?
I'm a junkie, man. I'll watch whatever.
We're a junkie. We just took 2 weeks off, but meanwhile, in when we had that 3-week gap in between December and fucking January, you're over here like a fucking crack fiend scratching at your face as getting ready to suck dick for UFC.
I still watched all those fights. I still watched all the fights from the last couple of weeks. Now I was at work on the overnight the one, but I was dipping in, like I was paying attention, you know.
Yeah, no. But there's fights, and then there's like 299 was like, oh, I'm gonna watch 7 hours. Are you gonna watch 7 hours of MMA today? You're goddamn fucking right. I'm gonna watch 7 hours of MMA today. You know what I'm saying? They had the Bellator. I checked out the Bellator card the other day.
Yeah, no, I'll watch it.
Chris Blancata, did you like that, buddy? We're getting ready. Got this new camera. It's all fancy and shit. We're getting ready to do some more stuff with that. We always appreciate you stopping in, bro. You've been with us for a minute. So, and he's a Cowboys fan. I can't complain about that because if I did watch football, I'll admit this on the internet, I was a Cowboys fan. So shout out to Chris. We like Chris.
Oh, we got the what do we got? We got the UFC fight night in Atlantic City tomorrow, right?
There was a time where we contemplated going to that.
I'm okay to watch this one from home. And yeah, no, I would never hide in the bathroom at work and get paid to watch fights. That's not I would never do that.
Never.
Never ever.
Of all the questionable things you can do in the bathroom at work, watching fights is not one of them.
That's a place of business. I would never watch fights.
We did that. We did that once. They were kind of the machines we ran when I was in the box industry.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of allowed to kind of have our phones out as long as your work was done. They really didn't give a fuck because it was night shift. So I went a step further and brought in like a full 20-something inch laptop that flipped over into a tablet and had it wedged up in a thing. And I got like 4 people up there watching the fights. She's like, that's not acceptable. I said, when it's my fucking cell phone, nobody cares. I was like, because I brought a big screen and took some fucking initiative, you want to have a problem with it. So yeah, so not the most questionable thing to watch fights at work. And I don't condone it, but fuck it. Do what you do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know what we got. What else happened? There was something else. Oh, Chimaev Whitaker got booked. Did you see that today?
I did. I thought that was going to be Chimaev Strickland in Saudi Arabia. Oh God, I don't see. I mean, we'll talk about it, handicap it when the time comes up. I don't see how Robert Whitaker wins that fight, you know. But Whitaker's only lost to absolute monsters, so maybe I'm seeing it a little bit skewed. I've always been really, really high on Chimaev. You know, all those Russian guys, I thought they were really, really good, top notch. You know.
Yeah, Bill's a Dagestani dick rider, as they say. As they say in the chat, Bill's a Dagestani dick rider.
The stats don't lie, man. The guys, they don't lose a whole lot. You know.
No, I mean they're definitely solid. That's why I want to see wait a little bit, give them probably 2 or 3 more fights. But I feel like Bo and Chimaev, and it's no coincidence. Like I'm in the Bo Nickel shirt from 500 level, but no coincidence that
that's probably two freight trains that are going to hit head on at some point.
They're on a collision course, I think, at some point. So
I'd like to see fight. That. Yeah, but Bo Nickel needs another two fight, maybe even a third fight, probably 3. Yeah, Bo Nickel needs about 3 more fights. You know, climbing the ranks each time. And if he keeps on looking as impressive, you can sell that fight pretty easy, actually.
Shout out to Matt. Matt's trolling around the groups. Matt's pretty insightful. I like when Matt's usually involved because if he doesn't know what he's talking about or he kind of doesn't know, he'll tell you he doesn't know. And if you talk to him and you're kind of more aware of the situation, Matt's usually one that's open to listen. So shout out to Matt for joining us. I guess first time tonight. Chris Blancata says he needs a dog. I feel like he needs a dog fight. Yeah, we have this conversation at least once a week. Bo Nickel's only been striking for 2 years, so and again, it is what it is. Like they're gonna book who the fuck they book. It's not. It is what it is. But like facts are facts. Like people, they're feeding them cans. Guy's only been striking for like 2.5, 3 years now.
I'll tell you what, the guy he's fighting UFC 300 should be. Nothing's a walk in the park. Nothing's a guarantee at the UFC level, but Cody Brundage is not on Bo Nickel's level any day of the year ever. So, and you know what? The odds on all the websites say that. I think Bo Nickel's like minus 1,800 or something like that, minus 1,600. It's fucking ridiculous. But I think that the reason this is on UFC 300 in the spot that it's in is to give Bo Nickal some shine in front of the world. And then I think they can start. I think you will see a significant step up in competition. If he handles Brundage the way I think he's going to, he's probably getting the number 15, number 10, and number 15 guy next fight. The fight after that, he'll probably be around that 5, 6, 7, 8 mark. The fight after that, he'll probably, if he wins impressively, he'll probably, dude, I'm high on Bo Nickal. I think Bo Nickal is the truth. I think him and all his friends, hell, would Penn State just have six national finalists in the finals at NCAA Division I wrestling. I think you're actually going to see a couple more of Bo Nickal's friends, Penn State alumni, hit the UFC here.
And Cassatt's already up there training. I definitely need to make a trip next time I'm up across that way. I definitely need to make it stop at like ATT Happy Valley and just check it out, because we went by there last time. The timing didn't line up for classes and I didn't get to stop in, but I definitely want to go up there. I really feel like you're going to see some of that dynasty trickle over into ATT Happy Valley up there. And then you got access to guys like Mike Brett. If you take guys that are under Cale Sanderson now, trickle them into Happy Valley, and then they can get down into Florida and have access to rooms with guys like Gilbert Burns and Dustin Poirier and coaches like Mike Brown. I think their ATT's in the building phase right now in the Northeast, so I think you're going to see some good stuff here. Shout out to Levi Haynes. He's the hometown boy. His dad used to work on my archery equipment. His mom used to teach at the school where my kids go. His uncle is my brother's wrestling coach. He just won a national championship at 157. So
and Levi Haynes is what, 215 pounds?
157.
Oh, I thought Levi. Who's that big heavyweight from Penn State? Who's the big guy?
I don't follow it that much in depth to know.
Well, they had a heavyweight. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, everybody has seen, whether you like him or whether you don't, everybody's seen a guy like Merab Dvalishvili. Okay. And basically he's just a guy who brings in a real heavy grappling game plan. And when you're this much better at it than everybody else, and you can go and go and go and go, I think there's you're a senior at Penn State, you win your second national title. Sure, you can do some wrestling clinics in the off season and shit like that, but you could do that regardless of what your profession is. Where do you go with it? If you don't think you're good enough to win the Olympics, which there can only be one guy, and that's probably the guy making all the money, whoever the gold medal is, you could just come on over to the UFC and start beating people up, and we'll work on the striking as it comes. Those Penn State guys, they could win a lot of fights in the UFC right now with just their collegiate wrestling.
Well, and if you look at somebody like Bo and the equivalent of like the Dagestani wrestling, these guys go out, they win multiple Sambo world championships, they compete for a while, and then they get into UFC. Bo's just doing the same thing they're doing, just at the same level. And I welcome any fight that's coming up with any well-known Dagestani wrestler in 185. So I'm looking forward to that. He'll be in the mix by the end of the year. I think if he can get through Brundage pretty easy, not saying he will, but if he can kind of get through Brundage a little unscathed, you're kind of looking towards the end of summer, and then fourth quarter, you'll see him. Bo Nickal could very well be in the mix, and it just depends on how they take it, how he's progressing. The striking's looking better and better. You're seeing a little bit more of it every time. He's posting a lot more content on the internet, so I'm definitely excited to see that.
And Bo Nickal, he's confident too, man. He's very confident, and he knows how to train at an elite level. And that's something you can't really teach people. He knows how to put, obviously, because of his wrestling background, he's proven he can get on the big stage in front of all the people and mentally prepare for what's going on.
And if you don't think for 1 second that, and again, this is going back to this partnership with like ATT and where Dan Lambert decided to put a school like. Bo, because his wife works at Penn State, he's Penn State alumni, he's national championships out the wazoo, all the accomplishments afterwards at Worlds, like he's got access to that whole facility. You think a Division I school that's winning national titles at anything doesn't have the best of the best for training and recovery, on top of he has all that to work with, and then boom, he goes out to Vegas and he can get all the shit at the Vegas PI because he's got a fight book. So it's
well, let me tell you something. I won't beat this to death because this is we'll do MMA here, but this Penn State wrestling team, for those that don't know, there's dominant, and then there's what Penn State did this year. They keep track. Every match you win your team points. If whether it's a pin, a major decision, you win more and more points. Penn State won the team national title with 172.5 points, I believe it is. The next closest was Cornell at 72. Like that's how good all these guys are coming out. And I think I think you'll see a couple Penn State wrestlers in the mix here in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I don't follow it as much as I did when my brother was coming up because my brother had it on, so we would mix it in a little bit with stuff. But yeah, I looked at something. They had like national, I think qualifiers for the finals or something like that, or
Ridiculous.
qualifiers somewheres. They had double everybody else.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Nuts.
Yeah,
nuts.
But yeah, so we'll see that coming on here. What else we got, man? We want to take a look at the Atlantic City card this weekend.
Yeah, we'll pull that up. Go ahead and add this up here.
I was a little disappointed in this card, but whatever.
I think if Sean Brady would have stayed on this card, we'd actually went to this live.
Could have happened.
Just real quick, check out what we got coming up. I mean, we're in the middle of it, guys. What is this, like week 9 of 11? Albeit I took 2 weeks. I'm excited for the Allen Curtis fight. I want to see what Brendan Allen could do with Chris Curtis. They already
Brendan
fought
Allen's very, very good. Yeah, Brendan Allen's very good.
Then we got 300 on the 13th. Steve Carell versus Alexander Pantoja.
Yeah. Oh my God. The guy. I saw something. Somebody made something up with The Office. Michael Scott. It's like him versus Urseg. It's good.
That was me. Where are we?
Yeah, some genius out there.
Where are we going for this one, Mr. Senior Perfecto?
Yeah, no, some good all the way to bottom. Let's see.
And Jaquani's on this one. Nate Landwehr's on this card.
Oh, Nate the Train.
Lupe Godinez. There's some names on this card. Gilbert Burns' little brother's on this card. Yep. Connor Matthews. Thank him for his service. He's still active duty as a combat controller for the United States Army.
Okay.
And now Andre Petrosky.
All
right, so we went all the way down now. So now I'm expecting you to carry this all the way back to the fucking top because you got to go all the way down to the bottom.
All right. The Irish guy, I know the UFC wants him to win. The odds aren't up, but Petrovsky versus Malkoun. That's a tough one, bro. Like I'm always going to shoot you straight what I think. I don't want to say I called it, but yeah, I guess against Michel Pereira, I saw a big athletic striker with a lot of range. Malkoun is solid. I'm not saying Petrovsky can't win that fight. I'm saying Jacob Malkoun is real solid. Malkoun was actually beating up on Cody Brundage pretty bad. And then there was this really, really, really weak hit to the back of the head. It was legitimately to the back of the head. I'm not saying it was a bad call. I'm just saying I really, really thought Brundage could have continued, and he decided to call it quits that night. So,
and for those of you guys that are tuning in for the first time or whatever, just to let you guys know, Bill's chops is he fought professionally for a number of years.
Oh yeah.
And you may have seen him in the intro to the Duplessis Strickland fight in the package that the UFC put together, because he did in fact referee Sean Strickland once or twice. Once.
No, just once. When he was first starting out.
Yeah, just once. So when Bill usually says stuff about bad calls and this, Bill usually has a tendency to actually know what the fuck he's talking about. And if have watched this show before, you know that we are diehard for the PA Jersey, like Mid-Atlantic guys. Andre Petrosky is one of them. But Bill, even though we were rooting for Joey Pfeiffer, Bill always calls it straight and said, if this happens, and this is what's going to happen. And Bill's like 4 for 4 this year with our PA fighters. So,
yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't mean they always win. But I am rooting for Andre. Malkoun is solid, though. That's a hard fight. That's not an easy one.
No, not at all.
I'm sorry, I do not know the Russian and the Brazilian fighting in Jersey.
Here we go. There you go. Bottom.
Ibo Aslan. Yeah, no, I remember that guy from the Contender Series. Pretty. I'll tell you what. I think they would really, really like to highlight. They would like to highlight Ibo Aslan. Anton Tergals. I remember seeing him on the Dana White Contender Series. It was the same night that Joe Pfeiffer had his first knockout on the Contender Series. The guy does not do a whole lot in his fights, and he's 0-3 in the UFC now. I think they're bringing him in to make Isan look really good. So, or
Yeah.
Aslan, sorry, Ebo Aslan. So
They're using Ebo to take him out, gatekeep his
yeah,
ass.
yep. Connor Matthews and Dennis Bazuchka, or however you say his last name. I know Dennis. I won't murder his last name. I know Dennis is a former CFFC fighter. I'm not sure if he ever wore the belt in that promotion, but I remember they were real high up on him. That and I believe he fought Ring of Combat too, over there in Jersey. So he's like a Jersey, New Jersey, New York kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Connor Matthews. I heard you saying something about him. What do you know about Connor?
The United States Army combat controller. I'll pull up his tapo here. Actually, see what comes up. 7-1. I've seen highlights of him only.
All right.
And it stood out. The fact stood out to me because of his service. Oh, that's right. My bad. He's a cartel guy. He trains up there with Calvin Cater.
Okay.
Fall River, Massachusetts. See what the record looks like. Contender Series, Combat Zone, CES, the Northeastern. Yeah, it makes sense from where he lives at Cage Titans. Yeah, man. 7-1. Combat controller, serves the United States Army. Appreciate him. Thank you for his service. I hope he gets a win this week.
I will be looking forward to that fight. I'll be watching that one. All right, here
For
we
those
go.
of you America haters out there. Go ahead.
Julio Arce. I've been in there with Julio a time or two. Ring of Combat, Lou Neglia guy against Herbert Burns. Yeah. I'll tell you, Arce has good takedown and submission defense. Real slick boxer. So he's probably, I would obviously I'm not dropping a bombshell here. He looks to be minus 455, so he's a heavy favorite.
Yeah.
I would think that's rightfully so. It's not like Herbert Burns is just going to go in there, throw him down, and choke him out.
Yeah, Herbert Burns is definitely not the caliber of his brother. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'm going to go with Arce on that one.
Yeah.
Loopy.
Yeah, Lupe versus Verna. The internet's favorite. Internet is mean. Let's just say
that. Yeah.
Constantly poking fun at that sweet girl. Don't you leave her alone.
Yeah. No, Loopy set the record last year. What was it? We went over it in the stat show. Was it 3 fights in the shortest time or something like that?
Okay. This Jandaroba chick, she's tough. Jandaroba's very, very tough. She doesn't
Nate
go in
Landwehr.
there. Oh, Nate the Train. Best post fight. His post fight interviews are maybe not exactly on par with Derek Lewis's, but they're up there.
First of all, watch your fucking mouth. Nobody's post fight interviews are on par with Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis wins that award hands down 10 times.
He does. He does. But Landwehr, if he gets a huge win and you give that guy the microphone, just get the fuck out of his way. Just let him say what he's gonna say, man. Let the gold roll out.
Jamal Emmers.
Yeah, Jamal Emmers. No pushover, man. Guy's good.
No, he came through. I'm gonna check this because it's gonna irritate me if I don't. That's right. He did just have the win. What's his?
He fought Jack Jenkins real tough. Sabatini.
That's who I think it is. Yeah, here we go. This is the other guy that got. I couldn't remember his fucking name because, well, let's look at his name. He's the guy that he just got hit. I think yesterday or today they announced he got popped for multiple substances that weren't supposed to be there. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Why would you even try it?
You're
gonna catch him.
It's kind of dumb. Coming off the heels of the Walt Harris. Yeah. Go back out here. Same with Nate Landwehr, another guy that's been around for a minute, Njikwani.
Yeah, he has
Reese
been around
McGee,
for a little bit.
Cage Warriors alum.
This is like a journeyman type fight. Neither one's ever going to see. Neither one's ever going to see the inside of the top 10, but they're both tough fighters.
Yeah, the Sam Alveys of that division, if you will.
Yeah, very good comparison. Yeah,
your good friend Senior Perfecto.
This is a good fight, man. This is a real good fight. I would think Nelson, from what I remember, I would think Nelson's going to try and take him down. I don't think that Bill's a tricky one to stand with. If you for anybody who has or hasn't seen him fight, Bill Algeo is very awkward. Is that the way you would say it? Striking,
Yeah.
like hands down, in and out, weird angles. Like nothing comes. He doesn't come at you in that straight traditional kickboxing boxer. Straightforward type shit. He's real loopy doopy with it, and moves real fluid. He's a hard guy to hit. So I don't know. I'm always rooting for my PA guys, man. So let's go. Hopefully Bill Algeo with that one.
We'll go Senor Perfecto there.
This is my lock of the forever. And like I said, the odds are going to be completely swayed. You're not going to win any money.
Are you saying that the guy on the left looks like Genghis Khan, and that's why we should say he's going to win the fight? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, he's. I'm not impressed by Dumas at all.
Yeah, not a ton at all. I think this guy's wrestling is going to be able to take him.
Geez, yeah, no. He's done. No, this guy, Uzbekistan. Yeah, no, Nurulstin Ruzabev. Yeah, that guy's gonna.
And again, I'm way out of practice because normally I'll hit the card, I'll do the run through, I'll be like, okay, I'll familiarize myself with a little bit, but I'm over here like digging into this guy's fight history. I didn't pay, like I said, when I said I took 2 weeks off, buddy, I watched that Sean O'Malley fight, and that was the end of it. I took 2 weeks off from everything.
So Chris Weidman trying to give it one more shot, huh? Bruno Silva's a tough guy. I don't foresee. I don't know. I don't think Chris Weidman can stand with him, and unfortunately, in this day and age, I think Weidman's best years have been behind him for a while. I don't see Pat Brady says I'll fight him.
I don't even know if Pat's still with us. Pat stopped in. Shout out. We name dropped Pat earlier. We got to have Pat in soon. Pat, man, that fucking that whole edition you did, bro. I've been following the product on Facebook. If you're in the Jersey area and you need your fucking housework doing, this is the guy you want to do it. While you're there, get him to sign some shit because I think he's getting ready to fight BKFC soon. So more people are going to know who our buddy Pat Brady is.
Pat's a gigantic heavyweight. He'll fight anybody. There's nobody Pat wouldn't fight.
I'm pretty sure that our good friend Pat Brady over here has seen you sniffing at the salts from our good friends over at No Slap. So we're going to throw this up here, let you guys know. We got to talk about them in a couple minutes anyways. So I'll just put that up now. Get Pat's comment off the screen. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Pat, much love. Hope everything's going good. Can we get you on? Pat, if you're still with us, can we get you on before Pat's here. He says, I'm here, bitches. So we got the full. Pat's got some BKFC news. He's got to come back on and share with us.
Come on, Pat. Drop it, man. Come on here and drop it. Promote. We could probably get you a few Instagram, Twitter followers, all that fun stuff. Pat's a good dude, man. I like Pat.
Yeah, Pat. We like Pat. He's a Jersey guy, but he's one of them Jersey guys that will we'll clean. Yes, we can do BKFC talk. But you heard it here first. Pat Brady will be on soon to talk about all things.
Yeah. No, I want to see Pat fight. Hey, the cool thing about a guy like Pat, man, if he lands one, just got to be one. That's it. He could be losing the whole fight. Lands one, and it could be over. Guys, Pat's a imposing figure, big dude.
As long as he keeps his mouth guard in, right, Bill?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely keep your mouth guard in that one. Get that. I think the way he told me, or the story goes, I think he had borrowed that mouthpiece. It didn't fit him for some reason. I think that's the way it goes. So
yeah, that's what he talked about on the show. He said he went out and got a definitely professional molded mouth guard after that.
Good. That's that thing should stay in there, especially if you're going bare knuckle. You don't want that thing coming out.
Vicente Luque finally got a fight. We've been hearing this guy's name on like 3 different fight cards in the last 6 months. He finally got a fight against Joaquin Buckley.
I'll tell you what, that's a good fight. I respect anybody that gets in the cage, pretty much anybody. Luque, I don't know, man. I think his best days are probably behind him. He doesn't really try and grapple anybody anymore. He doesn't. The past couple fights I've seen him, he doesn't really have that killer instinct. He was completely perfectly content to push Dos Anjos against the cage and just kind of lean on him, man. That's a little guy in a smaller weight class, dude. You're supposed to be wrecking that dude. and trying to get him out of there. Now, have you seen Joaquin Buckley recently? This guy throws for the fences, man. I mean, these guys, he's not scared to stand in the pocket and trade. I mean, this guy, Joaquin Buckley, he throws to finish. He is also the owner of that real cool spin kick knockout that gets shown all over the fucking place.
Yeah, he spun kick. Everybody reminded us that Impa got knocked out by Buckley and then went on the next year to win $1 million at PFL. If you didn't know, so
yep, that's a good fight. That is a really, really good fight though. Luque's going to try and play it real safe and win a technical battle. Joaquin Buckley's going to try and knock him out. So
I'm anxious to see Luque versus Buckley get on the ground a little bit and see what Buckley's got on the ground, because everybody knows he can bang, but so could William Knight, and we've seen how that turned out.
I'll tell you what, for Luque, if you couldn't even get, if you were struggling with Dos Anjos and stuff like that. Now he did land a couple takedowns on him, but
can we just talk about Rafael Dos Anjos quick though? At 40 couple years old.
Why? What about
the other week when he fought?
Yeah. Who'd he fight? He fought. I remember seeing one. Who'd he fight? Help me out. You brought him up.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Now you said it, and as soon as you said it, it escaped every. Who's in the comments? If Matt's still here, Matt will know. Matt, who did RDA just fight on the Cheeto card? Fuck! God damn it! You said it, and as soon as you asked me, like my brain went back. Yeah, definitely shit the bed. It was on. The build-up for it was insane. How do we not?
Because he got the win, right? He won a decision, didn't he?
Wasn't it? No, he lost against Gamrot. It was an unanimous decision. He lost against Gamrot. But yeah, he ate some fucking shots. Rafael Dos Anjos is still very much a name. I'm not saying Rafael Dos Anjos is going to win a title, but the guy's still killing it. He's been doing it for a while, and the guy's been through some wars.
Yeah, he's still hanging around. Hey, same thing. Jose Aldo coming back, man. Believe that one. I
just heard something about that. Hey, what's up? Bobby stopped in. He's coming on the show soon. We got a little bit of a time difference. He's a pro cutman out of California. Him and his cousin have a pro cutman business. His cousin coaches at Alpha Male up there for Uriah Favors promotion. Shout out to noslap.com for getting Bill through the podcast. Beer and smelling salts.
I like it.
Yeah, so Rob, I've been talking with Bobby. We're gonna get Rob to come up soon. Okay. Matt Dawson says RDA versus Chandler would be a banger of a lightweight. Thank you.
Yeah, from a promotional standpoint, though, they always want to have, the fight wouldn't make sense. You're probably never going to see that fight. Hell, they've been shelving Michael Chandler forever and a day, just waiting for this Conor McGregor fight to happen. That I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Fucking yeah. Chandler's been fucking inactive for feels like a year and a half now, sitting around waiting for this Conor McGregor fight that might never happen.
If we're good, we're supposedly good. We're supposedly good for June.
Yeah,
we don't talk about it. If we just don't talk about it, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, you can't. We've heard it before. It's getting old now. If he wanted to fight, he'd be in there point blank. So.
Well, I mean, there's another caveat. Again, when you talk about this stuff, you could talk about it as from the promotional side. You could talk about it from more of the business, contract side. You talk about it from the fan side, fighter side. You can't just have a one-sided conversation with the sport. But if you look back at what they learned with the whole Ronda thing, and I'm not shout out to Holly Holm for what she did, came back, did it again. Ronda's time was Ronda had a particular skill set. Her goose was a little bit more cooked, and I think she kind of leveled out. But I think a lot of that added to her promoting and doing all the extracurricular stuff. So when they're like, oh, why aren't they booking him? Why aren't they booking him? And I'm like, well, they don't want to book him to come back in and lose again. They want to book him to come back in and win so they can milk that cow a little bit more. And he was promoting a movie. He was doing this. He was doing that. Because like I said, look at the narrative. Look at how the narrative changed right after kind of Roadhouse rolled out. And then we started seeing some movement. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dana White, when he gives interviews, I think he's fairly honest. Maybe you don't like his business ethics practice work, but he's pretty much telling you what's going on. Every interview I see, when he's asked about Conor, he says, this guy's rich. He doesn't have to fight. I think he's telling us, I've tried. Do you know how hard it is to get this guy in the gym? To put the party favors down and the alcohol down and get off the yacht and go sweat at a gym.
Oh, there was
Like,
definitely some cocaine involved with Roadhouse premiere. Like I've saw multiple interviews. There was lots of cocaine on
yeah,
that world fucking tour.
yeah. I saw some
Excuse
shit
me.
like that. But Dana White's pretty much telling you what's going on. I think he's tried to get Conor to come back multiple times. Obviously, he wants to because it's a money making thing. But you know, I don't know how motivated Conor McGregor is to get back. If he wanted to be in there, he would have been in there. It would have happened. You know, he got the movie and he's got all his other business ventures. And I don't know. He says he's fighting, but my God, he's dropped that bomb like, oh, I'm back. He's dropped that shit like this is probably the third time I've heard about it, you know? And the
Yeah.
guy for some reason never ends up getting in there. So
No,
but,
I get
hey,
it. And I like from another perspective, like I don't have nearly the amount of close to the amount of money that Conor McGregor has. And you know me, I'm always 3 or 4 irons in the fire. By the way, I did hear back Fight Show merch, the shirts, and I think we might have hoodies are coming out.
okay.
They're the people that are doing it, an old friend of Bill's, their graphic designer. They were moving some plants, getting some new equipment and stuff. So everybody that's asked about Fight Show merch, shirts are coming. I promise you. Like they just emailed me back and said we're getting ready to make some moves with the design. So you'll be able to order those. Portion of those are going to go to G's for GIs as well, and we're going to put a portion aside for a fighters fund. So every shirt that you guys buy to support the show, we're going to turn around and take some of the cash and support fighters with it. So we got a couple fighters lined up for some sponsorship stuff we want to do. So yeah, man, we're all about it. So Fight Show merch is coming. If you haven't seen Bill looking like he's a fiend over here sniffing, you want to show him what you got, Bub? I got mine here. Our good friends over at No Slap, noslap.com, essential oils and peppermint essential oils and smelling salts. I personally use them in the morning. I've driven at nighttime and started fading out. I've used them. You can, just like everything else, code Fight Show 20% off, noslap.com. Bill's a third shift worker. What do you think of? I mean, tell him what you use it on the daily. You already put another order in.
I do. I keep it in my bag. It's nice little, I like the really stronger potent ones, like the Soul Slap, because I only have to crack the lid, but so much that, you know, it can last me all week. So no, I enjoy it. Nice little gentle drags, opens me up, helps me breathe. I like it.
It's kind of like that after effect. You have that first cup of coffee in the morning. You feel a little bit better after like half a cup of coffee. It's kind of like you can get to that before the coffee. So I like it first thing in the morning. It helps me clear up my sinuses. This is not medical advice. I'm not a fucking doctor. We've been using No Slap. We've partnered with them for like last month. I've been using it. Bill's been using it, a couple different use cases, but definitely something to try out. You guys want to try it out? Code Fight Show when you check out for 20% off your order. What do we got? T-shirts. We got Fight Show shirts coming. We covered that. We got No Slap. Talked about our good friends over there. Covered the card. What's up? Who's in the comments? Oh, Matt Dawson. Been here since the beginning. Shout out to him.
You want to do a way too early preview for UFC 300?
Nah, we'll cover that next week, dude.
Right.
I can't do that. No, because for that, I really want to do its due diligence. It deserves it. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Every single fight in that card could be a main event. They could have taken everybody that's fighting on that card and made them a main event for 12 months out of the year and spread it all out. But 299 was better. I'm hoping that 300 kind of keeps up with the trend we got going on here. Also, I don't know what's going on. Let's look, because we had 11 weeks. What do we have? 11 weeks in a row up till 300, and they just dropped some more cards. You got a gap after 300, and then we got Nicolau Kate 2 if Kate makes weight, and then Pantoja Ersig's the next week. That's the Rio card. St. Louis is on the 11th. That's the week after the Pantoja card. So yeah, man, we're looking at like, ooh, you're not gonna like this.
Good.
May 11th is the St. Louis card.
Okay.
Unless we do something and we're getting awfully close to not having time here. May 11th. The next card after that is the Whitaker Jemaev card, and that's June 22nd.
No, they don't take off that much. May to June? What did you say those dates were?
I'm giving it to you right now, bud.
No way. There's got to be another one in there.
Well, I mean, they're adding stuff here and there. This right here, let me go over here. That right there is supposed to be the McGregor card, 303, and that's as far out as we got. So I don't know.
That's like
I
almost
don't.
mailing.
Yeah, you're fucking paying for that. Them 11 weeks straight in a row. You're paying
Yeah,
for
it's
it
like
now, ain't?
6 weeks off, huh? That's lame, bro. maybe that's oh my gosh, I don't even remember. When does Dana White do his Contender Series shit? That's probably not till October or something.
No, 303 is International Fight Week. So who knows? Maybe we'll get another one.
Yeah, he said they're gonna do it big at the Sphere for that one. So
yeah. No, they're not at the Sphere for that. The Sphere's Mexican Independence Day. International Fight Week's just a big fan expo, and that big card they always do in July. They're just doing it in June this year.
Gotcha. Is that out in Vegas or?
Yeah, that's something that's like a bucket list thing. I want to get out to International Fight Week before.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've been to Vegas. I've been to Vegas and I've been to UFC events, but I've never been to UFC events in Vegas. So.
No, I've always wanted to go to the Arnold Classic Expo thing they had there for the fans. That's always on the bucket list.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go. I had an opportunity to go one year, and actually Gary Copeland was mini Brock Lesnar. I know you know Gary from your time reffing.
Yeah.
He was reffing the event out there. I was going to go out and link up with him, but I didn't go out there.
Shirt size, schmedium.
Shirt size, medium, arms, 3XL.
Yeah, right.
Other than that, no, I think we got all the comments. Nobody's in the comments. We reminded you guys about our friends over at noseslap.com to check them out. I think might be time for you to. You got anything to bitch about, or? I mean,
yeah. No, of course. Come on, man. I had a whole week to rest. Like,
of
course. No, yeah, of course I've got stuff to bitch about.
I'm surprised you haven't called anybody a cuck or a cunt when we're only been on 56 fucking minutes.
Yeah, well, I'm suspended from Facebook currently, so there's that. So yeah, I got bored, but yeah, I got something to bitch about.
Well, then I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull myself out here. We do a little segment here every week. We like to call the Ref Rant, brought to you by our friends at Nose Slap. We'll add it to the stage here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull myself. Oh wait, that's me. Hold on, new controls. There's Bill. Now we're here. Now there's me again. You don't want me, you want Bill. So I'm going to take myself out. Here's Bill Bookwalter with the Ref Rant this week.
All right, real quick Ref Rant. I won't go long-winded with it or anything. There was a one, I don't want to murder his name. Two, I won't throw him under the bus. We all know who the hell it is. The fighter that bit the other fighter. What the fuck are you thinking, dude? From the referee standpoint to your corner standpoint to your coach's standpoint, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you have the biggest opportunity of your life. One, I don't even know how you got your teeth past the mouth guard to bite somebody that hard. You know, I'm sure Garrett has seen it and pretty much the whole world saw it. Guy got a really cool tattoo of it, and then Dana White ended up giving him $50,000 for it. But to all the fighters out there, and I guess it's just not really trying to find the right words to rant about it, but just, yeah, what the fuck are you thinking, man? Pull yourself off. Thanks, Brent. Yeah, Ref Rant this weekend for if you're just going to waste your shot in the UFC to get in there and bite your fucking opponent in a fight that you're winning, stay home, give that opportunity to somebody else. But yeah, that's just my quick Ref Rant for today. Just what the fuck are you thinking, man? There we go.
The Ref Rant for this week.
What'd you think about that? Like, could you believe, like, I thought the days of the Mike Tyson thing were like decades behind us, and here we are in 2024. You got guys still biting. You know, that's right behind grab his dick and twist it.
Grab his dick and twist it. If all else fails and you can't get out of the fight, you can't get your corner to throw the towel in, just bite the fuck out of that motherfucker.
Yeah. If you can't reach his dick to grab it, then, you know, do the next logical thing, bite him.
I love how old fucking Deep Throat over here has been quiet the whole show, hasn't said a fucking word, and the first thing he says is pull yourself off, which could have dual meanings knowing who it's coming from.
Enunciation is everything.
Capitalization and punctuation. Other than that, are we good for next week? Or our schedule's so fucked up now that are we?
No, I am. I had a shot to sign up for overtime on Thursday, and I remember we got the show that far out in advance, so I avoided. So nope, I'm here for next weekend.
For those of you, like I said, we already covered it earlier. if you're just tuning in, we talked about Fight Show merch. A couple people talked about it. It is coming. Tees are coming. You support the show that supports the fighters. We appreciate you. NoSlap.com. Head on over to 500level.com. Bill, show me your hoodie.
Oh, sorry.
Pull your tits out.
Yep.
Bill got himself an Ultimate Fighting Championship from 500level.com. Like I said, go check them out. Code FightShow 20% off. 717 Surplus. You can go check them out over at ebay.com/store/717 Surplus. They are on Facebook with an ever-changing inventory. New studio is coming along. We will be in that shortly. I don't think anything else is coming up for us, Bubba. I think we're good. Watch party. People have asked about a watch party at some point in the near future. And I'm thinking I should probably talk to Bill about this if he ever comes to a fucking production meeting. I think we should probably do a watch party for 300. And
We can talk about it.
No, that's not us illegally streaming, so you can watch the pay-per-view. That is, you watch the pay-per-view along with us, and we have a conversation about it. We're going to bring fans on the show. We've talked about it. Matt Dawson, I'm looking at you because of your insight. Yeah, no, I don't want to bring a bunch of fucking idiots on here, but select few people. We got Robert McMillan coming up. He's a cut man out in California. Brian Crandall from Geese for GIs is going to come on and talk to us about Geese for GIs. Mike Pope said he wants to come back. Pat Brady said he wants to come on. We've got verbal commitments from Joey Pfeiffer and David Feldman. It's just a matter of scheduling with those guys. We're bottom of the food chain, so we're going to let them deal with what they got to. Other than that, you got anything else, man?
That's it, man. Order yourself some no slap. Order yourself some 500 level gear.
Yeah, do that. 20% off. Code FightShow. Yeah, we just line it up. Just wherever we tell you to go, just go and put in FightShow. You'll save some money. Some money will go to a veterans charity, and you'll help the fighters. Appreciate you guys. For Bill Bookwalter, I'm Price, and on behalf of No Slap, Fight Show episode 26. We are out. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, be deep in the threads and be careful, or you'll end up in Facebook jail like Bill.
Yeah, be kind. See you, man.